Good afternoon to my viewers and my listeners, and welcome to A Place Called Through here at WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Today we have our guest, Miss Mariam, who will introduce herself shortly as she talks to us about autism and the effects of autism. We welcome you again to this place called Through. We are a nonprofit organization and we function by your charitable donations. And we ask you to consider giving a donation to help us forward our mission of hope. Again, today, we welcome to you, Miss Mariam. If you would, for our listeners and our viewers, please share with them who you are and what you're about, what your mission is.
Thank you for having me, Miss Patricia. And my name is Maryann Bushnell. I'm originally from Morocco. I end up in this my second land about like 24 years ago. So, but I'm the founder and director of World Alliance for Families and Children. It's a nonprofit organization that whose mission is to raise awareness about autism among the non-English speaking communities, as well as the people that are locals. And I'm a mother, my only son, who actually like just turned 17 yesterday. He's on a spectrum, severely autistic. And it's, he was diagnosed when he was about 28 months. And it has been a journey that, like we learn every day, even being no verbal. He teaches me every day. It's like I tell everybody, having a child with autism is nothing really like, it's like a university. So they have their own way of getting a message to you without me having even like a voice. And I'm his voice, as well as so many kids that are diagnosed with autism. And I'm glad to hear this.
I understand that the records show that 1 in 34 boys are the ones that are diagnosed with autism, and 1 in every 144 girls are diagnosed with having autism.
So correct. Autism is, like I said, it's a disorder, a neurological disorder that affects the 4 areas of development, like as a child. It affects the language, which can be like a language delay, communication, the way how the kids communicate with the others and exterior, like exterior world, the social, emotional aspect of it, as well as, like very often you can say, maybe even like some other people have like what we call a motor, or maybe like more physical, sensory aspect of it. So when you're talking about this, like my son, he's in pervasive. That means that he has a delay in all of these areas. And then, like I said, the autism affect, which the science says 4 times more boys than girls. So you're right, because the prevalence of autism in boys is a lot higher in boys than girls. And like I said, my son, when he was diagnosed with autism, he just kind of really like was acting. He hit the milestone. He started walking when he was 10 months. At 12 months, he was repeating everything. And then at home, since we speak different languages, like I said, I'm originally from Morocco. So Morocco, we have French and Arabic, a native language. Both of them, we use them. So anything I tell them, he would repeat it. And then when he just turned 2, he was sick. Like we just put like some shots, like maybe like a week before, and then the following week he was like completely, for 1 week his temperature wouldn't go down like for like 100. And then we're trying to do Tylenol, we do everything in diarrhea and things, and we didn't understand. And then I would call the doctor and he would say, oh, okay, well, that's normal. Those the effect of the vaccine. So as soon as he got out for the, like when he was sick, so he was completely another boy. He wouldn't do like, I said, what was going on? Maybe I said, well, he's still like under that, like maybe when he was still sick, but my boy was completely like another child. And
But that does come with the autism, though, that the diagnosis, even though they're nonverbal in many cases, in fact, most cases, it affects other parts of their bodies as well. And
yeah,
it's not
like I
necessarily
said,
contributed to the medication, it is the disease itself.
yeah, but I mean, like I said, because like like what they said about autism, when you meet one autistic person, which we shouldn't say autistic, with someone with autism, that means you just saw that one. Everybody is unique, like unique in different ways. Like you cannot say, okay, well, like I can compare my son Zach, for example, to another boy, because they may have some similarities, but however, they're unique. Each one has a unique, like a unique reader like characteristics about each person with autism, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Um, um, like I said, for the last for the last 16 years that I've been with Zaki, I've learned what I have not learned for my 56 years. Because he's he would get message to you, and then he, without even talking, he's just kind of sending me those vibes and those the lights to say, "Mama, you can do it. You can do
He
it."
has his own communication ways about him.
That's
Autism,
true.
this is, even though there's no cure, with the treatment, there are signs of improvement, but autism could be something that could be a lifelong lasting situation for individuals with it.
Like I have in my surroundings and people I know, so many people on the spectrum, but they are in like different levels of autism. Some of kids have like Asperger's syndrome. Some of have they're really like on severe autism, like Zach, my son. However, there's one thing that I may probably say. There's all the time one area that's a lot of us as parents we kind of overlook. It's the area social, how these kids, maybe he may be brilliant like in math and many things, smart kid, however how he acts with the surroundings in the society, the awkwardness of their behavior, that's area that you cannot, I think that you can work on it with some social stories and show them when we're talking like the social awkwardness. Like for example, I may probably be you look at me and I'm gonna be looking, okay, well, I'm gonna see you, Miss Patricia is mad at me. She's I can read your facial, I can read your body language, but for the kids they don't. And that's why they are the majority of the kids that are on spectrums or maybe individual, they're really reluctant to be bullied, to be really like kind of maybe laughed at, maybe like because they cannot read the body language or maybe the social or maybe like the emotional cue for others. This part is really like I can argue with some parents that would say, oh, no, my son, he's very fine. He's, we give him medication and he's fine. But like I said, have you really like kind of check that area of the social? How maybe like if one's a kid, maybe like he just have, wants to go to somewhere and then maybe start laughing with no reason, because he wants to laugh and he doesn't know that, hey, maybe like you can tell him, Miss Patricia, you can tell him, oh, I'm hurting. Maybe because that moment he maybe probably have like really like get hysterical laughs because maybe he doesn't know, what's the boundaries like as far as how would I act in that situation, because they don't read that those cues. That's we are like I say, if someone is crying, you may probably be saying, oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Patricia, because you're sad and everything. No, I mean, a lot of kids with the individual autism, they have that part that's, they people have hard time to really like kind of work on that area because they're more into, if someone is smart or is intelligent, that means he's academically very good or brilliant. But it's not true, because if my son, he's brilliant and he's doing well in math and he's doing in computer, but if my son cannot be really like how, he doesn't know how to act in a society, how to read the messages from the other society, that's not really like, I don't say that this is gonna go away, because that's part of autism.
That's
And
part of it.
part
That's
of,
the makeup of it, that he's not able to communicate because it is a nonverbal communication. So he expresses himself a little different than anyone else would be. But as his mother, you know, mothers that go through these crises with their children or family members, however, you're more of an advocate on his behalf than most other parents would be with children who have other diseases, because you're there fighting for this autism and naturally on the behalf of your child. What are some of the challenges now that we're having this national crisis of COVID-19 that you are facing with, you know, dealing with handling your son and trying to get, you know, the different resources and still maintaining? How has this COVID-19 affected your situation?
well, I mean, it affected me in a way, Miss Patricia, like as a parent. I'm talking about myself personally. When you have a child with autism, automatically you get confined, because first you are like what we call like in India, you become like a pariah. That means someone that is not really like a um, um, uh, people they don't people they really look down at you because you how your child is behaving. You cannot be invited. They don't invite you in their birthdays. They don't invite you in all in social in any socialization. It's gonna pretty much like all forget about it, because you're focusing on your child, and you're focusing like how you don't want to have like a people really like kind of insulting you, maybe because I've been insulted in many places like maybe McDonald's, or maybe places where like my son has a right to be like anybody like to play, but because he doesn't know how to play, so I get insulted. Or maybe like he's hungry, he gonna go and he cannot wait, so he gonna probably grab like maybe a French fries from like a table. But it's not because he's a brat, he's not well, like he's not, I'm not teaching him, but because in his mind, okay, his mind works different. I'm hungry, I see French fries on
He
the
wants
table,
it because he sees it.
grab them. But then at that time, I didn't understand neither. Like, how would I act? I was like, how many times, like, I grab him and then I took, I leave the place, or maybe like I leave the party, or I leave maybe birthday parties, or maybe like he wants to be looking in people's, on those, because he's very curious. So he wants us to look all the bags, like for maybe gifts and stuff like that, because he doesn't know. Since he was 3, I stopped doing like parties for him. We just kind of go to a restaurant, favorite restaurant that people know him, and then we eat, and then I grab him like what he likes, and that's it. Because we've been used to that confinement, Miss Patricia, since the diagnosis. Because we don't want to have, we want to just have to focus on our child. So for me, in the only area that I'm having a hard time, because Zachary loves school. So I'm having a hard time to explain to him this is not just kind of spring break or summer break, but this is a longer. Nobody knows really, because this break that we're having now, it's really unknown. We don't know when we're gonna be able to go out, or maybe when I'm gonna tell him, okay, Zach, you're gonna count the days, see the calendar, and then weekends he knows that there's no school. Sunday, Monday, and then if there is like a spring break, he knows the days, and then he's gonna go back. But no, it cannot, because
So he's feeling the impact of being confined even more so now, because
yes,
he does
he
know
does.
that normally he'd be able to get out.
He does, and then that works on his. You can feel him that he's distraught, he's mad. He would just run from one side to the other, and then he doesn't know what to do. And then maybe like I see that unusual behavior that started looking at him, where he may probably hit his head, or maybe like he would rock so many often, would really like scream for no reason, and then cry, and then it's unstoppable. Because the anxiety, not knowing what's gonna happen. So that's his playing on him and playing on us, because thank God that, like I said, I don't have neighbors. I don't have really like, but yeah, I'm thinking about families that maybe live in an apartment and they have neighbors. Those must be really like very, because I don't think that there's one child that has autism that's gonna be really like kind of that's gonna act normal in this situation of this confinement, because those kids, they're used to a routine. Once you get off that routine, so they're kind of really like kind of, it's a chaos. It's a chaos that's hard to even to explain, because you don't have an answer for them, and nobody has an answer for us, unfortunately.
He's challenged even more so, and
Yes, ma'am.
the actions of rocking back and forth and butting of the head and maybe slamming, pounding on a table, those are his forms of communication of being upset because he is so confined. So, as his mother, you're understanding now that this is just his form of communication. The impact of this now on you, because there is no relief for this COVID right now, where you can just go outside. Well, you can, because you could wear your mask and be protective. But in light of the fact that you can't get to your normal routine, I would say, rephrasing it, what really is impacting you the most? Is it seeing that your child is actually developing even a more intense behavior because he's confined and can't really communicate it? What's really defining how you're really feeling right now about this?
I feel really like when you are wingless, or maybe with no wings, like someone that wants to do so much for your baby and then you cannot. Because even therapies, school, we just have a limited time for him, like through Zoom, like what we're doing now. And it was very helpful. However, I myself, like, because I don't know, first, I cannot work because I lost my job. It's not lost my job. We're not essential. Our job is not essential. So I'm worried more like just how I'm gonna provide for him. That means when he's at home, he's not overweight. Zaki's obese because he's very 6'2", about like a 380 pound. Now I can see that he's getting more weight because he cannot go out. He doesn't do any exercise like when we do. It's a boy that cannot, because of his sensory problems, he cannot wear mask. He cannot wear anything. You're not gonna make him to put anything on his ears, anything on his wrist, anything on his head. No, he wouldn't stand anything.
He doesn't want to do that.
No,
because
he
it's
doesn't.
more confining for him to do that.
And yeah, and then because sometimes I have to take him because I need to go pick up my mom's medication and I cannot leave him with her. So I need to go to the pharmacy. So he's not gonna understand about social distancing, because he's gonna go and then he's gonna be running and walking, and then maybe someone that's in front is waiting. Maybe they're not gonna look at her, because you know how people really look at you, even if you get close to them. And I understand, because this is what's going on. However, it's even worse and even harder just kind of adjust Zaki in when you're talking about social distancing. No. Yeah, he doesn't understand, because he may probably, I can be, stay here because we have a mark. We have a mark that stays 6 feet, but he wouldn't stay there because he would wiggle, or maybe he would run away. And then I have to go again, just wait and tell him and do again, like to be in line to be able to go back. And then I'm grabbing one thing. And it happens to me like a few days ago, because I had to take him with me because I didn't want him to stay home with my mom. So I couldn't do it. And this is really like very frustrating. And then I think people for a long time Patricia, this started being understanding and maybe like if I'm waiting online, they're gonna say, "Oh, you can go," because they're gonna see that Zaki maybe like he's showing like some sign that he has a problem. So they may probably be nice and even maybe like leaving us like in front of them and taking care of our business. However, I see, because what happened to the pharmacy like about a few weeks ago, when I took him, nobody cared, and they knew that actually I was in the front, and I had to follow him to grab him because he just kind of wiggled and then left our spot. And nobody would even say, oh, okay, please go to your spot. And then that's the attitude. It's really like hurt me. And I say, you know what? People really like now, they're just kind of, they don't know what's going on. They just kind of even, we're trying to say, like offering, maybe like being helpful. It's just kind of, they're losing it too. Because for what I've noticed, like around me, like people, they just want to do their stuff and they leave and they don't really, they care less about others.
Available resources at hand that you can rely on. We're kind of winding up now, so I wanted to give you a chance to talk about some resources, available help. So if someone else is going through what you're going through, that you maybe can reach out to, what would be your words of advice, and what kind of resources are you able to utilize at this point, with the shut-in at this point?
So far, well, I mean, it's just kind of maybe what I would say, it's maybe talking parents to parents, Miss Patricia, because all agencies, they're not allowed to meet with you. They're not. They just do, everything is via, like we do virtually. You cannot do anything. You cannot see any therapist. You cannot see the speech therapist. You cannot see anybody, even the psychiatrist. I told him what's going on with Zach, and he said, well, let's just kind of leave it a couple of weeks or so, and then call me if things escalate. And then you can call me. And they wouldn't give me anything. The only thing, like I said, I share my frustration and everything with other parents, and I've tried to see, okay, what works for me. Because I'm right now, I got Zaki we do activities at home. I bought him like a program, like where we can play with, like in his computer. So he's adjusting now. He's kind of gradually adjusted. So what I would say, I mean, and then it's if they have services through maybe like cardinal innovations, or maybe like waivers, or like something that they have their worker aid, that may work. Or maybe like they can just kind of reach out to each others just to share what works for them, and then what may not work for them. And that's I think that's the main thing. And like I said, I'm here for all my people, my families. Like I share with them anything that I learn, anything that I get, anything that works for me. So I share it with other parents.
And that's awesome. Unfortunately, we are out of time, Miss Mariam, but we'd like to invite you back as we continue going through this crisis to talk about your progress, and if there's anything, significantly that has changed, and in hopes that our viewers and our listeners perhaps can reach out to you and share, similar situations, so that you all can be resources for each other. Again, WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network, that is part of our mission, to share hope, in life, real stories with real people. And we just want to thank you, be encouraged, and know that God is still in control. No matter how hard it looks right now, nothing is impossible if you believe. I want to thank you for sharing the story with us. It has been enlightening to me, and we will share it with many others. And like I said, please feel free to reach out to us again to be our guest at A Place Called Through on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network. Again, we thank you for raising the awareness, and also, if you would, make that charitable donation so that we can continue our mission of hope. Thank you. God bless you. Godspeed to you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Be well.